Hi everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Q&A with the College of Law for upcoming Profs students. We have got your questions submitted and we are happy to go through them now for the next few minutes. We've got lucky to have Levi Farrell with us today, who was an alumni Profs student, and we have Jeanette Hobbs, who is one of our instructors at the college, and we also have Anushka Mackay, who is our education support team advisor. So they will work through now their introductions and then we'll get on to the questions. Jeanette.
Kia ora tātou, ko ngā koroa te maunga, ko waipai te awa, no Turanganui a Kiwa ahau, kei Tamaki Makaurau toko kāinga nainei. Ko Hobbs toko whānau, ko Jeanette toko ingoa. Hello, I'm Jeanette Hobbs, one of the instructors at the College of Law, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions. Anushka.
Thanks, Jeanette. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Titirangi te maunga, ko Turangi nui te awa, ko Ngāti Porou te iwi, ko Maki tuku whā, ko Anushka tuku ingoa. Hi, I'm Anushka. As Lauren said, I'm the Client Services Advisor, and I'm here to just assist with some questions, and I'll pass over to our alumni, Levi.
Thank you, Anushka. Thanks, Jeanette. Thank you, Lauren. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Levi Farrell tōku ingoa. Tū karatete ana tōku maunga ko Mauao, e rere ana ngā wā e ririhua, ko Tauranga Moana. Pūtaina toia taku waka tipua ko Mātātua. Tū marohirohi ana tōku iwi ko Ngaiterangi, a ti hei mauri ora. Kia ora everyone, my name is Levi Farrell, and I completed my professional legal studies course at the College of Law. I'm very excited to be here and share my experiences with you all today.
Nice to have you here. Thanks for coming along, Levi.
Thank you, everyone. All right, I'll go through some of the questions and we'll get started. So, Levi, probably a couple of questions for you to start off with. We've had one come in asking, how did you find the balance of work and study while you were completing the Profs course?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't speak to this question from a personal experience because I didn't work while I was completing my professional legal studies course with the college, but I definitely had a lot of peers within my classes that were in this very situation. And so what I can do is provide some guidance and options for students in this scenario. And one thing that I can confirm is the workload is very much like law school, something we're all used to, and it can be very hard to juggle studying commitments as well as with work arrangements and also childcare arrangements as well. But what definitely helps with that is a lot of the options that are available for students in that very situation from the College of Law. A few of those would be, instead of studying the short format full-time course, students can study the standard format daytime course. So if they were working in the evening, then they can undertake this option and study during the day. Equally, if students are studying or want to study in the evening and work in the morning, then that option is available, as well as the college has evening sessions available for students as well. There's also an option for students to study on the weekends as well. So if they're flat out from Monday to Friday, with mahi or with childcare arrangements or anything else, then that's definitely an option too. And there's also a recently developed option that the college has come up with that allows students to study 100% online, as well as having a blend of online and on-site study. So plenty of options for students in that very situation. But the workload is difficult and it can get quite stressful at times when you have to juggle a few things. So I encourage students to capitalize on these opportunities given by the college. Very helpful.
Well, thank you, Levi. And one other one here saying, what were the parts of the course that you found most useful or rewarding?
One of the burning questions I had when I was studying my profs at the college was, what does a lawyer actually do? And I know that's a burning question for a lot of law graduates. And so one thing that I found really rewarding was having that question actually answered When I completed my profs, I knew that I could enter the legal profession with confidence. I knew I had all the necessary skills to function, think and feel like a lawyer. And every part of the Profs course at the college really touches on an essential part of what a lawyer actually does in their day-to-day work. We learn client interviewing skills, we learn how to negotiate and mediate, we learn advocacy skills and many, many more skills in the context of specific practice areas. So that was one thing that was very rewarding for me, was taking all those skills and putting them into my kite, into my toolbox, and having my extremely burning question answered.
Great, thank you. Another one that we've had come in, can I get study link?
I'll take that one, Lauren. So yeah, we are study link eligible if you have any EFTSs remaining. So you can get professionals. There's a little bit of a confusion around the part-time and full-time course options we offer. So for study link, we're considered full-time. So you are eligible. You just have to have those available studies left.
Perfect, thank you. And just moving on in relation to obviously the full-time and part-time, how many hours is full-time course and the part-time course?
I'll take that one, Lauren. If I heard you correctly, you're asking how many hours is the full-time and the part-time? I think, okay, so that is predicated around the full-time course being a full-time commitment. So you can expect to work about 37 hours a week on the course. Treat it like your job, that's what you're doing with your life as profs full-time. The standard framework, the standard time frame, is more of a part-time commitment. It's predicated on about 27 hours a week. And that includes your review of materials, your preparation of activities, and your work towards the various assessments, including workshop time. So about 27 hours a week is the commitment for a standard timetable. But please do treat the full-time timetable as a full-time commitment. The main message we give you is it's great to do the full-time course because you can get through it quite quickly, but don't do it if you're working. If you are working, do the standard timetable.
Thanks, Jeanette. And with the, there's been a couple of questions around assessments. So regardless of the course that you're doing, how do the assessments work?
Okay, the assessments are a mix of oral and written work. So where we can, we have designed live performance assessments. They're a lot of fun, actually. I know assessment is not usually a word you tie in with fun, but Levi, were they fun, those live assessments?
Yes, they were definitely fun. Very good learning experience.
Yes. We also have a series of written portfolios, actually, of your work, and they form part of the assessment. So we have a blended assessment. There are no exams. So it is always a mix of the portfolio submissions that you do and the live performances.
Perfect, thank you. And Anushka, maybe this for you. Is there anything you wish people to know before they start Profs?
Oh, so I feel like this is probably around the question, should I start Profs now? And it's around the stale degrees. So it's 10 years from when you started your core components of your course is when they start to become considered stale. So this includes professionals, but it also includes your law subjects such as torts and criminal and things like that. So those kind of core subjects, ethics. So it's 10 years from when you completed those subjects. So generally you're not completing those in your first year, but you might be looking at from your second year. So if you started in 2011, you're actually starting to look at having a stale degree. So that's where I always say, do Profs now, get admitted. Once you're admitted, you're admitted. Then you can go overseas if you can and get a job in another industry. And if you're looking to become a lawyer later in life or even straight away, you've got that option always there for you. So that's probably my one thing I wish everyone knew is 10 years from basically when you started is how long you have to become a lawyer.
Thank you. And Levi, a couple of other questions just around this, the style of learning. So someone's asked about what does independent learning mean? So maybe you could talk a little bit about how you manage the independent learning component, and in relation to Canvas as well, for someone who's never used Canvas before, did you find this easy? How did you navigate through this for the independent learning?
Yeah. Yes, so the learning structure is very much centered around independent learning. So you will attend your tutorials or your classes at the college if you're doing on-site, if you're doing a blend of online and on-site classes. If you're doing 100% online, then it is very independent, and then you'll be using a online system called Canvas to help you get through your professionals. And for anyone who has never used Canvas before, you are not alone. I had no prior experience with Canvas before I began my Profs with the college, and thankfully for students like myself and others in this situation who have never used Canvas, when you start your professionals, you undergo a very comprehensive orientation, and during that orientation you get a very good overview of how to use and navigate your way through Canvas, which is what you're going to be using a lot when you're studying for your Profs.
Thank you. And just in relation to kind of moving on from that, there's another question that's come in around not being able to talk to other students or share work. How did you navigate through that? What do you do if you have questions in relation to that?
Yes, that's a good question. It's not something that we're not used to, and just like law school, the academic integrity expectations is the same with your professionals. So that's something that we're not used to, that we are used to, sorry. In terms of the second part of the question, if you do have questions that fall outside of the ambit of what you could generally ask your peers, then I highly encourage you to ask one of the very experienced and amazing instructors at the College of Law. They are very responsive, always available by way of email and also through Canvas. And they are very much happy to answer any questions you have, no matter what the topic is.
Yeah,
And
that's
Janette,
right. I just want to reinforce what Levi said. Sorry, Lauren, but we take pride in helping all our students pass our course and get through and get certification. That's our reason for waking up in the day. and so for us, it's not a case of testing to see who might pass and fail. We're actually fully focused on everyone achieving the certification they need to be able to be admitted to bar. So people start with us at different positions with different skill levels. It doesn't matter. We work with every individual before us to help them however they need it to achieve to the level of the required certification. So yeah, we're very, very keen to help if people, it is an independent learning system, which works for most people, but some people need a little bit more hand-holding or guidance or one-on-one, and we're here, we do that, we do that. So whatever your needs are, we're very much keen to meet them.
Thank you, Janette. And going on from that, in terms of the grading system, we've had some questions coming around. What is the grading system and what happens if I don't pass or meet those marks?
Oh, well, first, you don't panic. It's not like university where you study and you might pass or not pass a paper. The end result of your time with our course is you will pass the course. So the grading system is competency. That's what you want. You want to be competent in the regulatory skills. We have a system called not yet competent. And it's not just us being fancy with words. It really doesn't mean fail. It means not yet. And if someone is not yet competent, all it means is we keep working with that person until they are competent. We have a high tier performance of merit. So a merit grade, that's something pretty phenomenal. It's a pretty good grade. It's a level of skill that it gives us the impression of someone who's doing that skill to a level that will be very well regarded for a law graduate commencing supervised practice. So the goal is to achieve competency, which is a skill level commensurate with a law graduate commencing supervised practice. And yeah, the main message that we have for our students is never to panic. There is never a moment to panic in our course. Even if you're picking up not yet competence, it's definitely not a roadblock. It's just a way of us identifying really that we want to give you a little bit more help in certain areas.
And just a couple of final questions now. One coming in asking if I'm living outside of New Zealand, so an international student, what does this mean for submitting work and attending? Anushka, maybe?
Yeah, I can answer that. So it's basically comes down to time zones. You just got to be conscious of the New Zealand time zone. Workshops are mandatory, so that's where you want to, believe I touched on them, you want to look at the evening workshops or the daytime workshops. Might not be evening or daytime for you, but you want to pick one that's not maybe 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, and just make sure you're able to attend those workshops. And then I think just, yeah, keeping track of when those deadlines are. And I know New Zealand's a bit in the future sometimes, so making sure that you're submitting maybe a day earlier than what your deadline says and just keeping to those time zones. But we've had international students from everywhere. I think we had one girl stuck in China when we first had COVID, and we've had Germany and UK and even a couple of Aussies.
Perfect. Thank you. Just to, before we close, if there's anything that any of you would like to say that maybe hasn't been asked in the questions that you feel would be useful for the upcoming students, feel free.
Oh, can I leap in? I would like to encourage students to look at the Profs not as the end point of their academic studies, but as the beginning point of their professional careers. That's the attitude that we take in Profs with our students. Is our course is all about being a professional and a legal professional. The whole design of the course, the activities you do, the expectations on you in the course are professional expectations. So that's really the way I encourage you to look at it. We teach you how to be a lawyer when you come from law school with a law degree. And we ask you not to be so much in the mindset of being a student with us, but in the mindset of being a professional, engaging with us in that way.
Yeah,
I've got
absolutely. Oh, could I touch on what Jeanette was saying? Sorry, just for students who are finishing law school and thinking about starting their profs, one thing that I found quite challenging was taking myself out of that law student mindset and actually expanding my thinking to thinking like a real lawyer, which is something that is very important in professionals, in your professionals. You do learn all of the essential skills to help you to do that,
Yeah.
but it's still very good to be mindful to think of other considerations when you are working on a specific task in your modules for your practice papers, in your practice areas, and just staying open-minded as well. It's a very big learning experience, very fun, as we've mentioned, but yeah, something very awesome to look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay. And my one was just going to be, when can I start? As soon as you finish your last legal exam, you can enroll at any stage. You just have to have your course start after that final legal requirement of your Bachelor of Law. And that was all I was going to say. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Great. Thank you, everyone. That's really answered, I'm sure, a lot of the questions and hopefully helped relay some fears or any uncertainties of what's to come going forward. And we hope to see many of you joining us next year for the Profs courses. If you've got any other questions, just feel free to reach out to us. We will be happy to answer them directly. Pop them down in the comments section if we haven't answered anything that you have today, and we will respond to that accordingly. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Kia ora tātou.